Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Brubaker, and this is Career Search Lunch and Learn. We're a job search support group. We're here for you when you're in career transition, whether you're looking for your next forever job or whether you're looking for your next forever career and making that transition to a move that seems to work better for you. That's what we're here to support you in that role. I'm a career strategist, and my goal is to help you discover the tips and tricks that will help you move forward by focusing in terms of your own transitions, on the skills and experiences and accomplishments that you've had that are transferable to something new. I want you to find those things you enjoy doing, the things you do well, and then help you make that transition into a role that encompasses those as well. And that means everything from what we'll be talking about today, following up. We talk about networking, we talk about interviewing, we talk about resumes, we talk about the whole gamut of support that can come for you, that can help you in your journey. Now, one of the things that I like to remind people is that I'm not just talking off the top of my head. I have over 30 years of experience on the other side of the hiring desk as an HR manager, a business partner, a recruiter, a hiring manager, and a manager of talent acquisition, as well as an external recruiter. And I've been doing this career coaching, this career strategy work now for the last 9 years. I mention that because I want you to know that the information that we're providing you in these sessions comes from a place of knowledge. Those things that we know actually work, not just from our own experience, not just from what we hear from you, but what we learn from our colleagues. Because constantly going out and talking with colleagues who are actually in the trenches right now, who are doing the hiring, who are the hiring managers, who tell us what's working and what's not, doing the research to see from the industry standpoint what's real, what's not, what are the best practices so that we can share those with you as well. So that's me. I will put my information in the chat as we get started, and then I'm going to let Ken introduce himself too, and then we'll get going. Hey, Ken.
Hey, I just had to mute myself actually. Kenneth Lang here, Northern New Jersey. What I did, and it's a tip I put in the chat, is I renamed my name to my location, what I'm looking to do, or what is my call to action, and I recommend that everyone do that. In the past couple of weeks with my weekly newsletter, which I hope you subscribe to, in addition to listing networking events, I found two people that are actually out of work that have created websites for job seekers. One listing resources, and the other just best practices. Which, if you look at my newsletter, you'll see the links. Try to put in the either the group or later on today the names of the people. They're looking for as much help and support as possible. If that means writing an article or doing something like that, that's something else you can do. So I'm also going to be monitoring the chat as much as I can to help Linda out. Great to see everyone here today, and wishing you all the best of luck.
Thank you. And thanks for sharing. And thanks for sharing those resources. One of them I've seen is a great resource. It's called Just Laid Off.
Yes,
Okay.
they just laid off, and it was amazing. And I found it pretty much by looking at a comment on another post that this woman was creating it. Otherwise, I would have never found it. And that's why
Right.
it's so important to have the engagement. And Linda, what did you think of it when you saw it?
I was very impressed. Um, Ken was the one who turned me on to it. So much great information there. Everything from individual state information about unemployment to some of the resources that you can have to some of the legalities, um, to resources about where you can find jobs. So lots of job boards up. It was a great site.
And hopefully
Um,
she can add or will add like your group on there and other groups as well, which is what I'm trying to pitch. Maybe have a thing that, again, it's just an additional collaboration.
exactly. So that's one of the things we're all trying to do is trying to share those resources. What's the other site, Ken? I don't know it.
It was a woman who actually created by state specific things you have to do and contact information and best practices. Um, again, it's taking information that's out there, but basically putting it in one place. And she was doing it again to keep herself busy, to keep herself relevant, and it's a project for her.
Yeah. Now, you should know that some of these things are constantly changing. there was one state, and I apologize, I don't remember which one it was today, that just changed as of January, I think it's going to be as of January 1st, how you have to report your unemployment activities. And instead of doing just one a week, you have to have 3 activities that are active job search. Now, here's a tip for you guys. Attending this meeting counts as part of your active job search work. Anytime you are attending a networking meeting, anything that is a job search support activity, that counts. So please remember, it's another reason to join us here, another reason to share it. This is a great resource for you. So please keep it going. Okay, let me see. All right. And yes, I'd like to be able to add our resources there as well. If you find other resources, other sites that you think are really useful, please share them with us. We'd love to know because, again, our goal is to help you. I'm going to add my newsletter
And
link.
I actually put in the chat the links to the sites. I just did a copy and paste from my newsletter. One is RIF Surfer, the other is the justgotlaidOff.org.
Justlayoff.org is the one that I know.
And there's an RIF Surfer one, which is at the top there. Again, that was the first one I found. Um, I find it interesting that people actually want to do this, and it's a layoff support tool.
And I think there's also one specifically designed for people in public health. And there may be one who are ex-government, who were part of the major RIFs that were out there.
Sure. But it's just great information to even see it and realize that it's there and reach out to these people because I know Melissa is desperately looking for help. I've
Yes,
actually had a couple of conversations with her, and it's just a good thing all around to see what's out there. And again, look into it, see what you can get out of it. Just even connect with her. I think that these are just great things
I
um,
agree.
to look out for. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I want to point out, if you go to her site, is that she's done something I honestly recommend against. She
Okay.
said, which is her name on site, because I can't find her to connect with her. Her name is Melissa C. online, as opposed to a last name.
And her site, and I found, and that's the other thing too I told her about as well, because it took me a while to figure out who she was to actually connect with her.
Yeah. If you'd share that connection link with me privately, Ken, I would appreciate it.
Well,
Or do an introduction on Zoom that
I
on
mean,
LinkedIn.
I can put her link in the chat. I'm sure, as soon as I, just do this off to the side because I just recently connect with her. So,
Perfect. But that's one of the things that I want you all to remember is that we need your full name. So I'm seeing somebody up here, Lynn B. Lynn B, we won't have any idea who you are. There's so many Lynn Bs out there. This is a networking platform, networking group. LinkedIn is a networking platform as well. If you want to use the networking platform as comfortably as you can, we want to make sure that we know who you are, and that means your full name.
Linda,
Okay. Yes, who's that?
it's Ellen.
Yes, Ellen.
A friend of mine just had this same situation on Friday that someone told her that her last name was just an initial. So we went to the settings, and there's a setting for those who are not your first connections that you can change it.
Exactly. So that's what many of you have done. But some of these are, I'm finding even with a first level connection of mine who did it.
I put Melissa's URL, LinkedIn URL in the chat.
Perfect.
It's Melissa Claudel, which you never would have known if,
No, wouldn't have.
yeah.
But Ellen, thank you for the reminder. If you go into your settings, okay, you can share that information with everyone, okay, not just first level connections. And I really suggest that you do. You want to share your picture, you want to share your full name with everyone on LinkedIn, not just first level connections. The other thing is when you are posting or commenting, please be careful because there are a number of people who are my first level connections or even second level out there that I can't tag in a post. And I can't tag it because you said that the only people who can comment on your posts are certain people. You're not making your comments available to everyone, or that idea. So when you're doing it, your comments, your posts should be available to everyone on LinkedIn. People who can comment on your posts should be everyone on LinkedIn, not just your first level connections. Don't limit yourself in the way people can reach out to you or can support you. Okay, off my soapbox. We're glad that you all are here. Looks like a lot of you in the room, and I love that. We're going to go through and do quick wins in just a minute. If you are new to the group, we may have a chance to get you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Please put new in the chat. But first, I want to welcome everybody here. Okay, there's Ken and Alexandra and Amy and Andrew, Audrey, Carol, and Kathy. By the way, wave at us when I share your name, just so that we know that you're here. It's nice to be able to put that name and the face together. Charles, Christian, Craig, two Davids, Dawn, Doris. Oh, that's my mother's name. Nice to see you, Doris. Ellen, Eileen, Irina, Jason, Jennifer, Jim, Jody, Joe, two Joes, Joey. I see three Johns, Juliet, Karen, Kim, Laura. Nice to see you again, Laura. Lisa Beth, Lynn, Marilyn, Marianne, Marianne, sorry, Maureen, Michael, Mike, Morgan. Lots of new names, which is really nice to see. Olga, Pam, Rachel, Robin, Scott, Stacy, Tony, Vicky, Victor, and I apologize if I'm going to mispronounce the last name. Is that Zhang?
Xiang. Yeah.
Zhang. Okay, thank you. I apologize for anybody whose name I mispronounced or anybody I missed, but I want to welcome you all. Nice to have you here, even though this is where we know you don't want to be. We're going to get into the quick wins situation. So if you have a quick win, and if you're new to the group and you don't exactly know what a quick win is, quick win means something that you tried, whether it worked or not. It could be an interview. It could be you reached out to somebody, you got a connection or not. It could be an interview that didn't go anywhere. Whatever it is, okay, you made those new connections. We want to know and we want to share and support you because we learn from you in those as well. So I'm going to bring you up on screen. And if you see yourself on screen, just go ahead and in the order in which you see yourself on my screen or that you're coming up, go ahead and share your win.
Okay, Linda.
It's you. Hi, Pam.
How are you? I had a second interview, and it was I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Okay. It was an on-site second interview with 4 people within the company, very small company. It's only 8 people altogether. It was 2 hours of talking to folks, and then they gave me a skills test on Excel. And I feel like it went really well. I feel like I connected with everybody. I feel like I answered the questions well. The owner was one of the people that was in the interview. They didn't ask the typical questions. They did say, how if you had a manager that you really liked, what were some of their traits, and a manager that you didn't like, what were some of their traits. The owner of the company asked me what book I'm currently reading. So read a book. And then I turned around and asked him what he's currently reading.
Good.
Because fair play, right? It just felt like it was, it felt really good. So now in preparation for what I hope will be the next thing they do is have you come in to spend a morning with them, to shadow them for a morning to see if the atmosphere fits, which is interesting. and I'm cool with that. So in preparation for that and for hopefully an offer, I need to talk to somebody who is skilled at benefits.
Give me a call.
I will do that. I will do that. Yeah, and so I'm feeling, I don't want to feel too good, but I'm feeling okay about what's going on. And
So the
I feel
proper-
like this 3-year journey might finally be coming to an end.
That's great.
It's in a completely different thing. It's half the amount of money I was making before, but I don't care. I won't have to remortgage my house.
That works. And you can continue to look, building on this for something new.
Absolutely. And they're really close to home. And I don't care about the pivot. It's actually stuff I've done already in the part of running my business that I enjoyed. So it's fine.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Keep us posted and do reach out, Pam.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I just put the link in. And I'm hoping you're not driving while you're talking.
I'm actually parked and I am going to start driving. So I'm going to put me on ignore.
That's fine. Listen, and you can come back and watch the replay, but
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Good luck. Amy.
I got the Celsius job that I applied to 7 weeks ago.
I'm sorry, you what?
I got the Celsius job that I've been talking about for the past 7 weeks.
That's fantastic. So
Yes.
tell us more about it.
Yes, so it's an in-person role, the first time in 8 years. I'm have to go back to the office, so there's going to be a lot of adjustments for my household and myself. But it's Celsius, a very big company, very well known. So I'm hoping it's stable and I won't lose my job because they lose a customer like my last job.
And what are you going to be doing for them?
It's called EDI operations. So I'm going to be a manager, and right now there's only one person underneath me, but they have consultants externally that their goal is to bring in-house. So once they do that, then I would have a larger team. But it's for anyone who doesn't know what EDI is, electronic data interchange is the exchange of data to get orders from a retailer to the vendor. In this
Excellent.
case, yes.
And remind us, because it's been a while, and I love the fact that you're continuing to give us those updates and that it came to the fruitful conclusion, which is fantastic. Sue isn't here for her pom-pom, so this is the best I can do. Where did you find that job initially, Amy?
It was listed on LinkedIn, and I went to the company site and applied there, but I did find it on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate it. And thank you for all the support that you've done here for other people on LinkedIn or
Yeah.
in Lunch and Learn. We really appreciate that. Come back anytime
Thanks.
to share ideas and how you got there, not because you need another job, hopefully. Vicky,
Understood.
there you go.
Yeah, I had another interview on Friday. This was a in-person interview for the law firm that I had where I had the virtual interview initially. And it seemed to go pretty well, and so I'm still waiting for a decision from them, hiring decision. And then on last Monday, I had another interview with still another law firm. And that one was with an HR person. And so I'm waiting for them to decide on if I'll get to interview with one of the attorneys at that firm. As for the society job, that has kind of gone quiet. It's I haven't received any kind of feedback even after sending a email to the person that I was to my contact over there that I had interviewed with. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know, maybe they have chosen somebody else, but I don't know what's going on there. But I have these two law firms that I'm waiting on, so that's my win for now.
Those are great wins. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Marilyn.
So I think I mentioned last week about having some interview or having provided availability for a third round of interviews with a company. I didn't hear from them. I didn't hear from them. I finally got a message, an interview scheduled with the head of HR and with a panel. The head of HR interviewed was canceled 10 minutes before and rescheduled to
Oh,
next week. And the panel interview is scheduled for tomorrow. Given their track record, I'm fully expecting it's going to get rescheduled. They're terrible. This is like one of those experiences of lack of communication and all kinds of things. And I'm hoping that the interview process doesn't reflect the company. But the good
I'm
news is that I have a panel interview tomorrow and an HR interview next week.
so
So
yeah, unfortunately, that kind of behavior, if it's constant, tells you a lot about the company culture.
yeah, I think so. And it's one of those things where it's been a long job search and I probably would take an offer from them regardless. Um, but and continue to look.
I was gonna say,
We'll
and
see.
continue to look, always be
Yeah.
looking. Yep,
Okay.
perfect. Keep us posted. And how did you find that job initially? Remind us, Marilyn.
I think it was LinkedIn, but I'm not sure. If you hang on one second, I will tell you where I found it. Sorry, I should have had
That's
that
okay.
handy.
The reason we asked
It
this, guy,
was actually, oh no, it was actually Welcome to the Jungle.
perfect. Okay. The reason that I ask where you found the information, where you found the jobs, how you got the interview and how it got going is that it helps people understand there are lots of ways to get your foot in the door and that they're all working. But I want to be able to share with you so that you hear that because there's a lot of information out there that says only one way works and it isn't true. Okay, Mike, there you
Hello,
go.
everybody. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hi.
You're fine.
This is my, I think, second week here. It's great to see some faces from last week. I guess, kind of win is my first interview. So I got laid off June 1st. So that's a huge milestone. And I got the interview, I think, primarily because a colleague I worked with when we were PMs 20 years ago. He's kind of moved up the ranks, and he's a director. So it's I'm in Minnesota, so it's with the state of Minnesota, their IT department. It's interesting because I had applied to a couple different positions there, and one I got turned down for, but this one, I was asked to come and interview. It's sort of interesting this day and age, and especially I've talked to other folks through networking here locally that a lot of them are Zoom or whatever to start. They actually want me to come in person, so I think that's a good sign, and I'm a little nervous, of course. But so I am just from some of the various advice that I've gotten through these different calls. My focus now until Tuesday morning with the interview is working on my stories to match the job description and just obviously, any standard questions that you tend to get. And then I think rehearsing those over and over again to make sure I'm really confident in that. And I guess the other thing is I'm going to go drive to, because it's downtown in St. Paul. I'm going to drive tomorrow and make sure I know where the parking is and all that stuff. So that's one less thing I have to be stressed out about before the interview. And then it is interesting because there's like an hour panel interview with three people, and then there's a break, and then 45 minutes where you do like a writing exercise, and they put you with a laptop, no internet kind of thing, no AI or whatever. My guess is maybe they're just trying to make sure people can think and write and communicate without maybe using AI or whatever is my guess, but I'm trying to find out.
And that would be my guess as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So that'll be interesting. But of course, in the meantime, just continuing to, the job search, right, to try to get some more interviews. But that's it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Congratulations. Keep us posted.
Okay. Will do. Thank you.
Jason.
Yeah, hi. So a couple weeks ago, I was here. I had mentioned for the last couple months, I had been kind of recreationally, maybe that's the wrong word, but informally meeting over coffee with an individual who just got promoted at a big
Mhm.
company locally. And he ended up in a position where he has been tasked with rebuilding the marketing company. And this is a both domestic and international company. It's a huge enterprise. So he's in technically C-suite from what I understand, but he very much falls kind of in leadership ranks. And so he's in this position where he's internally kind of validating and e-validating, I guess just analyzing in general the status of the team. So I met with him a couple weeks ago over coffee, and he's known that I've been interested in his team, the company, kind of what his vision is. And he talked to me a little bit about, he presented to the board not too long ago. So he was telling me that the board was receptive to his vision, et cetera, et cetera. So my win is he, in this coffee meeting a couple weeks ago, had said to me, if you were to prospectively join, what level role would you be looking to join in? And I've never been asked that question before, so I didn't know how to respond. I kind of referenced very quickly back to my experience and briefly kind of rehinted at what I've done. Um, but I wasn't exactly sure, job titles mean different things at different companies, so I wasn't really sure how to respond to that. So in some ways, I guess it's a win in terms of being asked a question that in some slight ways felt like he was interested in bringing me in at some point. There's no headcount at the moment, but he said he will be opening headcount in the near future. But again, just the way the question came out, for me was a very new experience just in the business world, never being asked that sort of thing before. So I don't know, I guess, throwing it out there, I don't know if anybody's ever been asked in a prospective situation, what, level, what job title, would you be looking to join at? Or, or if this is just the standard, you apply to a role that has a title and you go through the interview process according to that.
So what did you tell him?
So I left it open-ended. I think it was probably the smarter thing to do. I said I've been an individual contributor. I've also had leadership positions. I told him the my last employer, I was not a CMO, but I was doing the equivalent responsibilities in terms of title. It wasn't CMO, but I was doing all the P&L, the strategy, et cetera. So I kind of outlined what I did, and I just kind of left it open-ended. So I didn't really give him a very, direct answer because I didn't want to limit myself. But at the same time, I felt like if I did limit myself, then it wouldn't open me up to other things that might come about. So it was just a very weird, weird for lack of other words, conversation and question. Um, so I guess in some ways it's a win, but it was just an awkward position I felt that I was put in, but a positive. It's not a negative.
It's definitely not a negative. It's awkward because you don't know exactly what they're looking at, and to some extent, neither do they. So
Right.
the idea of not giving them a specific job title works. What you might do in a situation like that in the future is talk about the kind of work you want to do, and whether that you are open to however the company sees it best for you to make use of that talent, whether as an individual contributor or managing others in the role. But here's what you want to help them accomplish.
Okay.
But great answer, great response.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm new. Today's my first day, so glad to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you. I do have a bit of a win to share. I was laid off in May. Networking like crazy. I'm keeping a spreadsheet. It's with outreach to multiple people in multiple different ways, and a lot of follow-up, and just was not getting anywhere. Wasn't even getting people to accept my connection requests. Got a call from a recruiter just out of the blue, and went on an interview and really liked the job. Turns out that they felt that I was overqualified, which I was kind of upset about. However, that did end up leading to an interview with a different team in that same company. So don't have the job yet, fingers crossed, but I should find out next week what their decision is.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And where did that recruiter find you? Or how did that recruiter find you?
I think they found me on LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. So that reemphasizes the fact that your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn activity, all has to be strong in order for people to find you. Perfect. Okay. Did we get through everybody? I think so. Okay. Perfect segue into our idea about following up, because that's what today is all about. So if you've got your questions, now's where we're going to ask them. That follow-up issue is so tough for many people. What do you ask? How do you ask? When do you get involved? How many times? When do you follow up? Do you follow up after you've submitted your application or your initial contact? Do you follow up after an interview? And yes, you should. How many times do you follow up? What's the cadence? What should you say to get them to follow up with you? So I know that that's one of the issues that will come up. If you want to just start with some questions, we can do that, or we can just start with, actually, I'm going to just start. So the very first thing is you've applied, okay? Whether you're going in through an individual, you're going in directly, maybe you haven't heard yet. What do you do after you hit submit? Should you do any kind of reach out? What do you think? If you think you should reach out at some point, immediately say, put a Y in the chat. If you think not, you should wait, put an N. Excellent. Okay. I'm seeing lots of Ys. I'm seeing one Y wait. One saying I'd wait a week. Follow-up message after the interview. Yes, this is it after application. We're going to get to the interview as well. Thank you, email immediately. Absolutely. After an interview. Yes. But let's go back to the beginning. So you've sent in your application. Many times we all feel like they're going into the black hole. If you know the name of the person to whom it went, if you know the name of someone at the company, even if you did not go in through a referral, should you message someone? Should you reach out to someone? And if you should, what should you say? What do you think, Ken?
Let me just unmute. I think to some extent it depends on the type of company and the size of the company. I don't think it's a one size fits all. Um, I don't have a problem with someone sending a connection request to someone unless you can be somewhat specific as to why you're doing that. But I would hesitate on a large company though. As a first thing, I might follow the company on LinkedIn. I might engage with content from people at the company there. Um, the worst thing that can happen, I don't think it's going to impact your ability to get the job. The worst thing that can happen is you don't hear back from them again, and most times that could be the case anyway.
Right. So if you want to, I will tell you, putting on my recruiter hat, and what more recruiters are telling me every day, if they have a company page and at the bottom of their company page, it says, let us know if you're interested in future opportunities, click that. It triggers something in their system. Okay. If nothing else, let's take another look. Second is, if you are connected to more of their people, doesn't have to be anybody in the department, doesn't have to be in that location. But if you're connected to at least one of their people, it says this is something you're serious about. Okay, I don't have to know you to know that you're there, but you've already made that relationship. That also makes me want to take another look. Ken's response about following the company and then commenting on specific posts for that those people are making, okay? Showing your expertise that way. It's not because, gee, I want a job, I want a job, I want a job. You're demonstrating why they should want you, what you can bring to any kind of a role. Do that on a routine basis, but especially for companies that are on your target list. Now, back to that specific idea of should you reach out after you've put in an application? Because I get this question all the time. If you've just submitted it and you have a name, sure, go ahead, send a message on LinkedIn. I just applied for this kind of a role because one thing that you can do, give one idea, please take a look. All you have to say. Not I want you to interview me. Not I'm a great fit. This is not a sales message. This is simply a, hey, I did it. If you've got a chance, take a look, period. And then let it go.
And if by some chance they accept your connection request, follow up with a thank you for connecting, follow up with an additional call to action. Don't just let it die that way.
Absolutely. Anytime somebody accepts a connection request, there should be a follow-up message,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what you reached out for in terms of the connection. But that simple, I just applied, please take a look, is non-threatening. It is not pushy. It may not get you the look, but it is much more likely to get you the look than anything else. Okay, especially at that stage of the process. You can use that same response. Okay, reaching out to someone in management or in HR, the recruiter, if you know the name. Let's say that you get that rejection after the interview, after the submission of your application. As if you never got it. I've applied for such and such a role. One thing that makes you stand out, please take a look. Period. End of issue. No additional follow-up after that.
And if you get rejected by an ATS or whatever it is, another reason to follow up. Because I've heard stories about ATS rejections because they have one wrong letter matched up to the job spec and you just get thrown away that way. I don't believe in taking no that way.
So that's why I say this is a great way to do it. It is non-threatening I shouldn't say that. From a recruiter standpoint, it is a very productive or a very proactive approach as opposed to, gee, you turned me down, why? Okay. Never mention that you were turned down. Let them just take another look. But give them the option of reason to do it. Anybody ever tried doing that? How do you find information about who the recruiter or hiring manager is? Okay. Sometimes if you're doing it on LinkedIn, they'll tell you.
Or you can do a search within the company and then based on job title, company A, who's in human resources or staffing and recruiting as an additional drop down.
Yep.
That might help too.
Yeah,
And you can
most of the time, sorry, I'm just saying, I'm the one who posts that. Most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, it's impossible to find out. Because, I look at design leaders, I'm looking for a leadership position, and you have no idea who it reports to. And you have no idea, and there's 17 recruiters at the company. And yeah, it's just, that's frustrating.
It is frustrating, but again, if you do it to one and you don't know whether or not it's not the right person, by the way, if you're not the right recruiter, would you please pass this message along to the person who is recruiting for the role? Again, it's not always going to work, but it's an acknowledgement that you may not be the right individual. And it gives them the added push to keep moving forward. You're doing it very politely, very very constructively. And never mention that you were turned down by the ATS or that your resume was rejected for any reason. You want them to take another look. I've seen that work. I've been on the other side where it works.
Sometimes you can go to, if it's a small company, you can go to the website of the company and they may tell you like on the about us who the main people are that way. Not so much the larger companies, but the smaller companies.
Right. You can also go to the company webpage, the company LinkedIn page, and you can search for the location, the title, the location. Okay. Sometimes you can even search for the department. You can read through some of those profiles and see. Yes, is it a lot of work? It is. Depends on how much you really want to do this. Yes, Mike. Excuse me. Yeah.
Oh, John?
No,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Yep.
No worries. So I've actually I've actually just used ChatGPT to find out who the recruiters are and just give as many inputs as you can about the company, which company it is, the type of role you're looking for, the department. And it's been pretty good about delivering results that to kind of outline, hey, this person has posted marketing jobs. This person has posted project management jobs in marketing. So I found that that's been helpful. And when I went, and then I verified on LinkedIn, and it seems to be pretty much spot on, as opposed to searching through all these people on LinkedIn to try to find out on their company page to find out.
No, that's a great idea. Great suggestion. Thank you. So make use of your AIs. They'll help you try and figure some of that out as well. Check with other people to see if they know anybody. But it's always a good idea to figure that out. Yes, Jim.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to start my camera and unmute myself. Yeah, I mentioned in the chat earlier that I tried Jack and Jill AI. It's hard to describe. It's like having your own, I'm trying to remember what it told me because I wasn't sure exactly how to describe it. You just hold on, let me see. I did
That's
have
the
a.
one I've not heard of before.
You have? Oh, okay.
I have not.
I have not. Oh, all right. Hold on. I did ask it. Said before is how I could I describe this? Oh, okay. It's an advocate on retainer and manages the tedious parts, finding matches, tailoring resumes, drafting cover letters, doing interview prep without the pressures of a traditional recruiter. So if you do try it, I do have a suggestion. When it imports your LinkedIn profile, make sure it's complete and accurate. I found that some of the information it pulled in was not. It was incomplete or not up to date. So give it a try. It's free. There's no charge for it. And it does ask you a lot of questions. You go through an analysis to begin with. I found it interesting. It's giving me a couple of positions to apply for. And then I also tell it what I've applied for on my own, and it starts to track it, or it says, well, why did you apply for this? You're not a good fit. And I'm like, well, you got to take a chance sometime. And it's like, okay, I'll put it on the list. So, yeah, Jack and Jill AI.
Yeah, I saw someone put the link in the chat actually.
I think that was me. Oh, okay. Yeah, Lynn B just did that too. Okay. I did it
Good.
earlier. So,
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So make use of whatever resources you can. It's a good idea. Be careful though. Don't let an AI write your resume for you. Truly not a good idea. Give you ideas, give you the research, give you the people, give you some ideas of the things you should include or should not. Absolutely. But your resume has to be your words. Okay, and your voice. All right. So that's if you've applied. You've done that. We've already suggested that you go ahead and you follow up, even if you've gotten rejected by an AI or something else. You've gotten the interview. Now what? What kind of follow-up do you do then? You all know, you should know, that within 24 hours, you're writing a thank you, right? To every single person you've interviewed with. Different thank you note to each and every one. Please don't copy and paste. Please don't just send it to the recruiter and say, hey, please forward this to the team. If you send it to the recruiter, send it to the recruiter and say, please forward this one to person X. Second message, please forward this one to person Y, so that they make sure that they each get their own individual, different thank you based on the conversation you had with them, even if it was in a part of the panel. Okay, I see 2 questions about that. Jim?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were calling on me.
I am.
Okay, it's a different subject, but it popped into my head because I asked Jack on the AI platform to do this for me. And people probably have heard this before. It suggested that you Google yourself and see what comes up. So I was afraid of what might show up. So I said to Jack on that platform, Jack and Jill, I said, would you do this for me? Just let me know if anything stands out. And it came back and said, after what I found about you, you're a ghost. There's nothing out there about you. So, if you're afraid to do that, absolutely, you can ask, I told it, just tell me if there's anything, that I should be worried about. And it's like, no. So if you're in a similar situation where you're like, I don't want to know, but, just give that a try just to be safe. Yeah.
I had one candidate do that specifically. and it cemented it in my mind. He came up and he was doing it and found that the very first listing under his name was a pedophile who wasn't him.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea was that he needed to be able to be proactive enough so that if he was going to be doing that kind of a conversation with somebody, by the way, if you're Googling me, fun fact, you may see the name of, okay, not me, but it's out there.
Yeah,
Okay,
but sometimes in that situation, when someone is listed as a sex offender, there's a picture. So when you click on their picture and you see the person who's applying and see their LinkedIn profile, hopefully they don't look the same either. So
exactly. But they don't
Yeah.
always go that far. They may just do the search. But you
Right.
want to make sure that you're Googling yourself. Now, one of the things that we are finding is that your LinkedIn content starts to help you show up in Google.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So another reason to make sure you've got a good profile and that you make it public. Another reason to make sure that you've got content out there, commenting posts that are relevant, not just, hey, great job. Mike.
If
Yeah, just a reminder, I maybe talked about it, but I'd forgotten is with like I have this panel interview coming up. How do I kind of get those names? Can I get them in advance or do I kind of ask after or expect that they'll give me the names for doing the thank yous? Thank you.
I would ask them in advance.
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
you please tell me who I'll be meeting with?
Okay.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And then when you get those names, look them up on LinkedIn. You know that they've looked you up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually the hiring manager that's setting up the interview, so I could reply back to her and ask. Thank you.
You can do that. You can also reply to HR, either one. But in any event, here's another trick is that when you get those names, my recommendation is send them a connection request. They will probably not accept, but it's their trigger to see that you're looking at them the same way they're looking at you. And your only message is, I am looking forward to talking with you on such and such a day, period.
Okay.
Okay, not even asking to connect, but it's their reminder that you're doing the same thing that they are. Jason.
Yeah, just real quick, wanted to go back to Jim's point on looking yourself up in Google. Having been in marketing for almost 14 years now, heavy focus in search engine optimization, both before AI as well as within the AI period. Just from my experience and just knowing Google's policies, procedures, compliance regarding marketing yourself, or whether you need to do it on your own or others do it for you. I think it is a good idea for all of us on a regular basis to look ourselves up. However, if you do see a listing, forget AI and all the chat systems today. Just looking at what we call the blue link system, right? So the former old, Google search system. If you find yourself showing up there, and it either isn't you or there's personal identifiable information or things along those lines that you want removed, there is a way. I'm happy to screen share it if nobody knows how to do this, but there is a way to request Google to review your request, your removal request, and you'll get all the updates through email when the request is sent on your end, as well as whatever the decision is. And if they do agree with your request, then it will be removed out of search. And in turn, by being removed out of search, it will also be removed out of Gemini, ChatGPT, etc. Without getting detailed. So if anybody is interested or wants a screen share, whether now or another time, happy to do so. But there is a way to request removal of your personal information.
Great idea. Yeah, that would be great if you could screen share it either in the chat or screen share it in our private group.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to waste time. If people want me to do it, I'm happy to do it quickly, but you let me know.
Okay. So will it be real fast?
Yeah, it's real fast. I can do it
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Okay. Let me just pull this up. Sorry, I'm looking up. I have another monitor, so. Okay.
While he's doing that, remember, looking yourself up is important because it will tell you what other people see. And the more you comment, the more active you are, and especially if you're making things public. And in terms of your LinkedIn activity, you want to make it public.
right,
You
let me go
want
ahead
people
and
to be able to find you. Got it, Jason?
let me screen share real quick. Can everybody see just the Google search?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so you're not going to see much under me because I've already gone through a lot of this. I'll just put my name in though anyway. This is kind of how I go about publicly, but um, so this, if I open this up, I don't believe is me. Oh, this is me. Sorry, it's not listed correctly. But you would put yourself in. You'd go in. If there's, let's say here, this is not me. So if this is not me, I will show you how to remove this. So this is definitely not me. So it's somebody else. I don't necessarily want to do that, but let me show you the process. So in search, under whatever it is you want to remove, there's this um, three dots here. If you can see, I'll zoom in right here. It's next to every search result. It's down here. It's here. You have to kind of click it and be aware. So you basically would click it, and Google's changed the user interface. It used to just pop up a drop down right here. Now it's on the right side in what we call a knowledge graph. So here they've moved it to remove result. So I'm not going to do it. Well, this is me, so I'm not going to remove it. But you would basically hit remove this result. It asks you why do you want to remove it, and you can't just they have policies and procedures, so you have to be very mindful of what you click here. Because if you click the wrong thing and you really want this removed for whatever your very specific reason, there's a pretty good chance they're not going to remove it. So you need to really be thoughtful in like what specifically about this link either doesn't apply to you, is legal based or non-legal based. You think through an actual reason instead of just sending the removal request. But that is how you do it. So you just click here, click remove result. It will ask why. You click one of these and it'll say, thank you for submitting the removal request. We'll review it. You'll get everything through email, as I said, and then whatever the result is, they'll either deny it or they'll approve it. If they approve it, it'll be removed out of their index, out of search. And if not, you'll be notified as well. And if it's denied, you'll also be in that email, you'll get a link that you can click on that will give you their specific reason based on procedures, policies, etc., as to why they denied it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Lisa Beth, you got your hand up.
I just wanted to add to that. I strongly suggest that you set up a Google alert for this. And someone just put in the chat about different search engines. So DuckDuckGo is about a year behind on their searches, even if you ask it to catch up. And Claude, if you ask it to do some searches as well, you have to ask it to please update its system and look for the most recent information. It will catch it, but it doesn't often. So the Google Alert, what I found is if you have a Google account or an email and you set up the alert, it will catch these before you even do and will send it to you and let you know about it so that you can monitor them and remove them quicker than even through the search that what we just saw. It'll go even faster because it already knows what you're looking for and why you want to remove it. So you can put in some even more, like, I don't want this address. I don't want this phone number. I don't want this. You give it all the information you want already removed, so it'll flag it and send it to you right away.
Thank you.
Yep.
Remember, don't flag your content. Flag your personal information.
It
Awesome.
won't do content. It can't do that. It can only do personal identifying information, social security number, etc.
Perfect. Rosalind, would you like to turn your camera on?
Hopefully I will, and it won't crash because that's what's been happening every
Okay.
time I turn it on. Okay. So if it goes off, it's just that it's the
That's fine.
system. But thank you. So what I wanted to know is in this case, how do you know that you're not removing somebody else's information? Because if your name is John Lewis, Ross Prue, whatever the case is, it's going to put all of those individuals that have that same name. So how do you know that you're removing your information and not someone else's because the names are similar?
Not the person to ask.
That's for Jason.
I was gonna say, I don't know the answer to that. Jason?
Yeah. Can you repeat it one more time, your question?
Yeah, so when you put your name up, this other person popped up. You said that's not you. So how do you know that by you asking to have it removed, whether it's Google or any other platform, that they're not going to remove that individual? Because when you did your name, it brought up all of the associations.
Let me try my best to answer your question if I understand correctly, and I'll make it quick. The what I pulled up, just I knew it wasn't me because it wasn't my picture. Um, could I have technically submitted a removal request? Yes. 9 out of 10 times, the highest chance of being approved to be quite low, actually. Google knows it's not me. Like they have a lot of information on all of us. And so they'll know from picture, they'll know from other, whether it's LinkedIn posts or Facebook, whatever it is, they know. It's scary to say, but they do know. And so if I submitted a removal request hypothetically for somebody who's not me, one, I shouldn't do that. And
No,
two,
no, no.
if I do,
You
it'll get
share the
denied. I don't know if
same
that
name.
answers your question.
I mean, you share the same name. So that's what I'm saying. How do you not accidentally remove somebody that's legit?
Um, I think the answer is this gets a little technical. There's something called alt tags behind images, which is really just a text description of what is in the
Oh,
image.
okay.
Um, and if there is an alt tag in, say, an image that is not me,
Mm-hmm.
most likely Google will understand it to a point where they'll deny the request.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
But the short answer is click into that link that isn't you, see what it
Uh-huh.
is,
Yeah.
and if it isn't, don't request that unless they're claiming to be you. There can be lots of people who've got your name, but if
Correct.
they're claiming to be you with your experience, your background, leave it alone.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions about that? Okay, and what I want to do is I want to get back to the idea of the follow-up. You've had the interview, you've spoken with somebody, regardless of what level it is. Now, how do you follow up? We all know the whole idea about, you get back to them after 24 hours, within 24 hours to give them a thank you. David, what was your question? Unmute.
My question is, if you send out one thank you note and then a few minutes later you get rejected, should you refrain on sending out thank you notes to other people if you were interviewed by multiple people?
So you've interviewed and you get a rejection after the
Yes, you
interview.
send out one thank you note a few minutes after you get a rejection, and then should you refrain from sending out other thank you notes?
At that point, I would probably do a thank you after the rejection.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, which is entirely different than a thank you for the interview. If you get rejected after an interview, I highly recommend sending a thank you note.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. Hope you keep me in mind for future opportunities because you
Yep.
never know if the person that's hired is going to work out or not.
Right, you don't say that last piece.
No, I know.
But that's your thinking. Okay. And if you wanted to include one piece about why they're such a great company, you're going to follow. I'd like to be able to follow up for future opportunities, and I hope you will too. Period. End of issue. That will keep you top of mind. And then remember to continue to comment on their posts. Continue to make sure that you're available from their perspective, that you're really still interested in them.
And you may not know the reason you're rejected anyway. It may have nothing to do with you.
Exactly. Now, one of the things you can try, doesn't succeed often, but one of the things that I've heard a lot of people complain about is you don't get any feedback as to why you got rejected. Legally, most companies aren't going to tell you. However, if you include something like, wondering whether you'd be able to help me out, can you please give me some suggestions or advice about what I can do to better prepare for a role like this at your company or elsewhere in the future? You're not asking why you got rejected. You got to get, in effect, what you're doing is you're asking them to mentor you. You can do it in that thank you after the rejection. You can do it at a follow-up stage once. You will, in all likelihood, not get a response, but when you do, it's going to be a very honest one, and you've got yourself solidified within that organization. But you're more likely to get a response that way than to say, hey, why'd you turn me down? I'm not going to tell you. Can't tell you.
I mean, ideally, you should be asking as one of the last questions in an interview, when can I follow up and with whom? You know, they always talk about, do you have any other questions? Well, that's kind of a natural question to ask.
Yes, but.
Okay.
Okay. And I want it to be one of the questions you ask. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't make it the last one.
Okay.
Everybody ends with that question.
All right.
You don't want to sound like everybody else. You want to end with something in the interview that makes you stand out, something that makes you that great fit again. I'm excited to be able to work on this and to help you do this. So end on that positive note. If you want to ask about who you can follow up and when, that's great. But that you don't want to walk out of whatever interview it is, whether it's on screen or in person or on the phone, with that being the very last thing they heard. It's about you, that question, not about them and what you can do for them. And you want to leave them with that thing that makes you stand out. You want to have that last impression be you in the job, not you asking for the job. So that's one of the things that I would do. Which gives me to the idea of how do you send those messages? So they've told you what the date is. They didn't tell you what the date is. You're following up after that interview. How often do you reach out? When do you reach out? If they said, we'll tell you by Friday, do you reach out on Friday? What do you say? So if they give you a date, okay, how many of you reach out directly on that date or wait until the following Monday? You can let me know in chat. You can raise your hand. Following Tuesday, you wait. Monday gets busy. Absolutely not Monday. Same day. Okay. Recruiter hat. I may give you a date. That's aspirational. That's what I'm hoping. So many other things come up. I can't guarantee that I'm going to hear back from my hiring team by that time frame. So don't hold me to that date. I want you to reach back out. That's great, especially if I've told you reach back out on, Friday or Monday, whatever the date is. That's when we hope to get it. When you're reaching out, it's not gee, you told me to call. You said you'd have a decision, right? Where do we stand? Don't do that. That's a negative from a recruiter's standpoint. You told me I would do this. You're calling me to task and I didn't do it. That's not what I want to hear. What I want to hear is that you're excited about the role. So instead of saying you told me to, you didn't get back to me when you said you would, your message is a very simple one. You can even say, just following up, want you to know how excited I am about the role. I am excited. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Looking forward to our next conversation is that soft close that so many salespeople talk about. I'm assuming it's going to happen. It's also a subtle reminder to them that they didn't get back to you in time. Those are more likely to generate some sort of a response and to leave you in a better viewpoint from the hiring team's standpoint, rather than holding them to task saying, you told me Friday, it's now Monday, where are you? Have any of you tried that kind of an approach? Does it work, or are you more of the, gee, you told me you'd get back to me on Friday, it's Tuesday, where do we stand? I want to know where I am in the process. Yes. Margaret. Unmute.
Sorry. Yeah, no, actually that happened to me, and I immediately just reiterated I sent an email after a few days, because it was more than a week, so I was kind of like, they must have gotten really crammed. So I dropped an email note that said, hey, I really look forward to speaking with you again. I know things can get very, very busy, so just let me know. We can when we'll have our next chat, and I look forward to it. And just very that simple, and put the blame on the work, not the person or yourself.
Perfect. You don't have to put the blame on anyone. But when you're doing it, put it on the work, not on them.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, please don't ask, where do I stand in the process? Okay.
Good point.
Remember, the idea is you want to show that you're already excited and you're in the role, not that you're questioning their judgment.
Exactly.
So does that approach resonate with people? How many of you have actually been on the hiring side of any of the hiring teams? Which would you prefer? Would you prefer the, gee, you told me to get back to you on Friday and you didn't make it? Or would you prefer the positive, I'm skewing the results and I realize that. Would you, as a hiring manager or a recruiter, which approach would you prefer? The call me to task because I didn't get back to you in time, where do I stand in the process? Or I'm looking forward to our next conversation without any other additional information. From a hiring manager standpoint, if you've ever been in that role, if you've ever been a recruiter in those roles, and I know we have a lot of HR people in the room, always a positive note. I would thank you for that kind of a response, the positive. Okay. Heard frequently if they really wanted the job. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it's hard to find somebody to reach up to. And I apologize. I'm not monitoring the chat, guys. So one of the things that I will do after the meeting is that I will go through the chat and figure out what I didn't get a chance to respond to and make sure that we do. So I do apologize that. Everyone really is very busy, but the idea is to be able to include something that makes you stand out again. It's them. It's about you telling them that you're the right fit for the role, not the other way. Not asking for the job, you're demonstrating your value. Laura, if you turn on your camera, or do you want to just do it from there?
Hi, I'll turn it on really quick and wave, but I'm not happy with me today. So is it?
We don't care.
Hi, how are you, Linda, team, Ken?
Hi.
So I had a phone screen last week. It was the second version. It was with the initial recruiter and the partner who seemed to be an owner in this recruiting firm. They're working directly with the hiring manager. And it was one of these cases where it sounded very positive. It sounded like, and when I say it sounded like, they point blank told me that when they showed the hiring manager different profiles that he was excited about mine. And so next step, they said, was to meet with this person. This is all virtual. And I haven't heard back from them. And it was Thursday, and it seemed like things were moving quicker. And I did send a message saying, can you confirm that you received the resend of my resume? So they asked for an update of the resume. Because the original resume that I provided them was a base. They couldn't give me a description of the job, a printed job. They could not tell me the employer, and I actually had to sign an NDA with them before I sent that. And I do understand why they did that. But I'm just wondering, I was thinking today, but actually it was last week, Thursday. Do I wait until the beginning of next week and reach back out to them if I don't hear from them? Because even if something I did was off, or they want to move forward, I want to use the, can you help me go forward?
So this is an outside recruiting firm?
Yes, it was a recruiting firm working directly with the hiring manager who they worked with before. First time working with him at this company, but they worked with him for several years previously.
Okay. So unless it is, go ahead.
Okay, the audio is going out. Okay, I can hear you now.
Good. So unless they are a dedicated, if they have been given a contract to fill the position, regardless of whether or not, not on a contingency, but we're looking at you to fill this role for us. And they are the only recruiter working on it. Honestly, having been in those roles, even though I've worked with that hiring manager before, I am one of several different recruiting firms who has that contract. Who has that to submit people. Sending them the resume and making sure that it's the right one, perfect response. After that, your response is, are there any additional changes you would like me to make on that resume? Or I wouldn't even say that. Is there any additional information I can provide that would help you to give the information to the hiring manager?
So even now it's been 1, 2, 3, 4 days.
I might wait.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And I would only, if you get back to them, it's only once.
Okay. So
Once
I sent the one. Yeah, I had a hiccup and I'm like, oh, they wrote me off because of that. And the hiccup was, even though I used the same format of sending the original resume, he said he couldn't open and it asked for permissions. So I said, okay, I'll send that back to you.
So that tells me, did you send it as a Google Doc?
I didn't send it as a Google Doc. I think it was a Word format.
Word should never ask for permissions to open anything.
I think it was the way it was saved, even though I did it the first time. So it was something in the way it was saved. And what I did before I sent it back to them is I sent it to me a few different ways. To one of my other email addresses and went to another computer and checked it.
Okay. So Word doc should always be able to be opened by anyone. Google Docs.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
PDFs sometimes have issues with some organizations, which is why I recommend actually sending them as a Word doc. Up to you. But since you've now sent it and you've done that follow-up and you've sent them the information, the only thing that I would ask is there any additional information I can provide and if it should be done?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jody.
Hi. In response to your comment about taking a more positive approach to the follow-up, I definitely do that. But the other, I think, thing to keep in mind is if you are the least bit antagonistic or seem impatient, it reflects how you respond to stress. And the reason that's coming up is one of the questions I was asked in an interview just yesterday was, how do you respond to stressful situations? So, I never want to look desperate. Like, oh my God, I don't understand. You said, please, I asked last week. And two, we've all, whatever, you don't have to be in recruiting to have a busy day at work. You never know what's going on. They could be short-staffed. Someone could be sick. I'm not the most important thing in their life, right? Like their job is right now the most important thing to me. And I'm just one of a number of candidates. So the more excited we are and the more we seem relaxed with it, as opposed to anxious, I think is more helpful for us to leave a positive impression, even if the job isn't for us, as somebody that's easy to work with and appreciative and enthusiastic, because that's how I want to be remembered.
That's right. Because even if this isn't the right role, you leave that positive impression, they may think of you for the next role.
Or they may be connected to the person in the company that I really want to work with, and they're going to be like, hey, I'm interviewing, like, oh God, don't go there. She's really needy. Or, oh, I wish we could have hired her. We couldn't for a reason. What a good hire. So anyone you meet with is part of your network now going forward.
Absolutely.
Help you. They might if you really liked them and you know there's no opportunities and their budget is tight, is there anyone else you could recommend I could reach out to who might be interested in my background? They've now invested time in getting to know you.
And that's absolutely right. Great points. So the idea is leave it on a positive note. That soft close. I'm really looking forward to our next conversation. Not anything at all, please, about you told me to call on such and such a day. Okay, where are we in the process? Where do I stand? Please don't do that. It does make you look desperate.
Is it
Go ahead.
Is it appropriate if in your thank you note for the final interview, because you found out when you asked next steps that they're going to be making a decision, to ask if there's any, feel free to reach out if there's any additional information or if you have more questions, or is that already implied?
I would absolutely do that. If there's any additional information I can provide, please let me know.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to working with you. In that final interview stage, I'm looking forward to working with you, not I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And guys, gals, people, okay. The whole idea is you want to leave them knowing that you are excited about this role, not just any of them. So always that positive note. In terms of how many times you should reach out after an interview if you haven't heard from them, or if they've rejected your application and it's not going anywhere yet, you're reaching out. After that, it's one. After an interview, guys, one, maybe two. After that, be done. After that, it looks like stalking. It's really negative. Okay. You always keep looking. You've left them with, I'm looking forward to the next conversation. If there's anything additional I can provide, please let me know. And then you're done. And I know that sounds harsh, but from the other side of the desk, you're reminding them that it's up, now the ball is in their court. That you're excited and they're ready. Now, here's the one change that I would make. If they've said, we need to move forward by such and such a day, we're hoping to get back to everybody by this day. If you're already in that active interview process, you've gone through at least one, maybe two, and they've said, we really want to be able to talk with somebody by next week. Next week comes and goes. Get back to them and your response is, I know that you said you wanted to move quickly. Here's my availability for the coming week. I'm looking forward to the next conversation. The best way to reach me is. Okay. Now, gee, you said you were going to get back to me. Always that positive note. You're making it easy for them. Follow-up is tough. Follow-up is something that we feel like we have to do routinely. And yes, you do, but please don't overdo it. From the hiring manager standpoint, from the recruiter standpoint, I want to know that you're interested, but if you're going to continue to stalk me, if you continue to say, gee, you said, where am I in the process? Where do I stand now? You said you'd get back to me, and you didn't. You're leaving me with a very negative impression of you. You want to be the solution to my problem, not causing me another one. Okay. What's the best question to end with in a thank you note or in an
interview?
Oh, in an interview?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about those again in another setting, but great question. I already suggested that you not end with, when can I get back to you? Can you tell me the next steps? Ask that absolutely. The last thing you want to end with is not a question. The last thing you want to end with is the statement. Okay, I'm really looking forward to this. I can see excited to bring X to solve Y. One reiteration of why you are the right fit for the job, just one. Pick one problem that you've concentrated on during the course of the interview. One quick statement to leave them with that positive impression of what it is you can do for them and that you're excited to do it. Looking forward to talking with you all again. Looking forward to our next conversation. If there's any additional information I can provide, please let me know. But the very last thing I would say to them as you're walking out the door, virtual or real, is going back to that one thing you can do for them that you're excited about. You want to leave me with the impression not of another question, not of a what's the time frame, but you want to leave me with the last impression. This person can do the role. This person can solve my problem. Not a long statement, 1 or 2 sentences, and you're done. Does that help, Andrea? Or whoever asked that question, I apologize.
Yeah, yes, it does. It was Alexandra.
Okay. Too many people, and you're going to hear lots of companies tell you that the best thing to end with is, what's the process? When can I expect to hear from you? And one of the problems with that is that everybody says that. Okay. It doesn't make you stand out. It's not the last impression you want to leave. You want to leave the impression that you not only want this job, but you can already see yourself in this job solving this particular problem. So it becomes more about them than it does about you. And they start to see you in the role, that is somebody who just wants a job. Whatever you walk out with is going to stick in my mind. Same way that what you start with does. So make it a very positive impression at the end. Any other questions? And I apologize. You can ask the question, if you're successful, what will I have solved from you? That's one of the questions you can ask. That's not the question that I would end with. The very last thing that you say is, I'm looking forward to working with you. I can already see myself in. I'm excited to be able to use my experience doing this to solve this problem for you. 1 or 2 sentences, reiterate your problem, the way that you can solve the main problem that you saw them working with. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Okay. We will, it sounds to me like one of the things we need to do is do some work on interview questions. Does that make sense? As a future topic? Okay. If there are other ideas, please put them in here. As I said, we are now planned through the 2nd week in September in terms of what it is we're talking about. Please join my newsletter, because that's where you're going to see upcoming events. And I'll be honest, one of the reasons that I started putting it in the newsletter is that I wanted to make sure that I was giving people more than just the event information. So I would appreciate you subscribing to it. You have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the article to get the upcoming events, but it lists them. So next week, we're actually doing a roundtable discussion, and I'm excited about it. We know that upskilling, reskilling, learning something new is important, not just to making a move in your current role or the roles that you've held in the past, the industries you've held in the past, the kinds of things you've done, but also in terms of moving into other areas. You've all got transferable skills. We know that some skills are becoming more and more important. We also know that when you're talking about, for some of us, being a little older, being out of work for a little while, one of the things we want to be able to demonstrate is that we not only can learn new things, but are learning new things. So taking those courses isn't going to be important. Now, there's so many out there, so many different things to choose from, so many skills that we can think about. Next week, what we're going to be doing is a roundtable discussion. You're going to tell us what kinds of skills you think are important. And if you've taken a class or you're looking for a class in a certain area, we're going to share those ideas that we have, things that either we've heard before, that we've tried, that we've looked at, where we can find them at low or no cost. So it's a roundtable discussion. Bring your questions, bring your ideas, bring the things that you've already taken that have worked for you, or the kinds of classes you think you might want to take. And one of the things we'll even talk about is what skills are going to be most important, we think, okay, over the next several years, that you want to make sure that you're adding at least one class to your resume and to your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so that's next week. The following week, which is, I think, September 2nd, we'll be doing a general open session and ask the coaches. Any question welcome, and you know they always are. But often during these sessions, we'll veer off a little bit. Ask the coaches sessions, it's all veer off. It's any question is open game, fair game, regardless of the topic. We want to make sure that we're answering the questions for you. It's a great way of getting started, of asking those questions that we forget about other times. And then on September 9th, I'm really excited. Sam Velo is going to be joining us, and he's going to be talking about the changes that have happened in AI over the last 6 months and how you can use those changes as part of, use AI and the changes that he's going to be pointing out as part of your job search to make your job search easy. So please join us for that as well. Remember to copy the chat. 2 ways to do it. One is to go up to the top of the chat where it says Career Search Lunch and Learn, click on the 3 dots, and it'll say Save Chat. And then when you leave, it'll give you the option of where to save it. You can also do it the old-fashioned way, which is the way I normally do it, which is click anywhere into the chat, click Save All, make sure that you've got it all listed so that there are no extra messages that say new messages, go always click into those first so you've got the full chat. And then when you do that, click Save, select all, and then copy, and then put it into a Word or a Google Doc, and that will usually keep the links active. Now, I will add the chat into our private group when we're done, and I will try and keep those links active. Doesn't always work.